guys, B-Man here. Welcome to today's video. Today we've got the next step in my Enzo build, and today this build is capable for dealing with all content in the entire game with ease. So that means Gluttony, the most hardest intercept boss in the game at this point. Yes guys, and this build is built right around survivability. So you guys will notice I have not got this build for being able to have your fourth ability up all the time. Now I'm going to show you guys explain to you guys why that is, and why that is in short. I'll explain further on later on in the video, but in short, that ability actually isn't doing very much. So with that said, it only busts 20% of your critical hit rate and some firearm attack, but that does not actually do much, especially for your teammates who have not got their guns built specifically into critical hit rate, because their builds don't use critical hit. So if they're not even built into critical hit, that tiny amount of critical hit rate buff you're giving them is relevant anyway. So for that, as I say in that, you're better off to put those modules into your survivability and stuff. So this is a selfish Enzo tank build for you guys, and yes, this thing is awesome. You can tank every boss. It makes all bosses and all content, even dungeons and everything, easy guys. So what we're focusing on is health, defense, and when our shield's low we get crazy even higher defense, so it goes up to 70,000. We've got damage negation on top of that and all sorts. So with that said, let's just get straight into this. Okay, we're going to start out by showing you guys this fourth ability and why I'm saying to not really worry about it, because it's not doing as much as people might assume it's doing. Okay, so let's show you guys a good example right here. I have this gun right here and my firearm critical hit rate is 32%. This gun is heavily built into crit, so other guns won't even get this amount that this one has, right? So we got 32 crit on this gun. Look what happens when we activate our fourth. This is the ability that gives that to everybody on our team, right? Just for a little bit, but look at the amount of extra crit we just got out of that. Only like 3%. So that's why I say don't build into that fourth, because once that runs out, it only lasts a little bit. But look, we only got 4% more firearm crit from that fourth ability. That fourth ability is not that powerful to bother wasting all of your defenses and all of those things into bringing this on to have this up all the time, because what this is actually doing for you is not that much other than the ammo. Now, yes, this does provide a little bit of ammo for you and your team, but I've never really had ammo as a problem for me. So in my opinion, that's not a thing to build towards. So for this build, we do not build towards this specifically because of that. The only thing that we're having for our buffs is the A1, number 1 ability, right? Now we don't have to worry about durations or cooldowns or anything for that. We activate it and then it's for our whole clip. Now our entire team can use that and touch that and get the buff. Now the buff that gives us, instead of only giving us 4%, it's taken us up a crazy amount, okay? So that is why just this one buff alone is absolutely breaking for the game, right? So this is the only buff that we really want to focus on heavily, because just having that buff on, and that lasts until we reload our weapon. So our entire team, and when you build your gun heavily into crit, then you can make the most of that weapon. Now, the reason this other one that busts your team is not as powerful as this one is for us is because not only does it doesn't give as much, but if you do not build your gun heavily into crit damage, getting a little bit more crit is not really going to do anything for you. So if your teammates get that buff and then it's only active for 13 seconds, they might only shoot for half of those time. Their gun is not built for crit. You've just wasted all of your module points into having that buffing them when they're not even getting much out of that. So for that reason, I ditch that. I'm not interested into that. And all I'm using is this for the abilities. And then all of my module space is able to be freed up to be used solely for survivability. So with that said, you guys understand why and how I'm building the way I'm building. And with this build makes all content in the game so easy it's not funny. This build has only got one energy activator in it, and we've got no catalyst in Enzo yet. So it's got a lot of movement and growth in this build where you could improve this whatever your liking is. The reason I'm making a video at this stage is because at this stage, this build can take on anything really comfortably, even Gluttony like you've seen at the start. But after that, on top of that, this build also has lots of room where you can personalize this build to your liking. So if you want to investigate in some more stuff and you want to improve this a bit more to different people's liking, this is not fully gone to the point where you don't have able to do that. So that's why I wanted to bring this to you. So with that said, let's get in and explain all this build and what's making this build work. So the main thing is this firearm Transcendent mod. Okay, my other video showed how I got this and everything, but yes, this is not a budget build. This itself will cost you about $3 million gold just to get it to upgrade it to this, and to upgrade it one more will cost you another 2 million. Now then, we're focused heavily for our health and our defense. So we have increased health, we have HP amplification for the more health. We're not worried about shield. We want our shield at 0 for this build. Then we have this here, an Iron Will Ultimate. This one is the one that's boosting our defense way higher when our shield goes to 0. So that reason we don't need any shield. When our shields run out, we have extreme defense. Right now we also have Sensory Depth. This one is an incoming damage negation. So it just completely negates a lot of our damage, right? Together, we've got 15% damage modifier for what incoming damage. Then we have our defense, which is just blowing our defense up through the wall. We've just got some extra cooldown, but we don't need that. I just had spare 3 slots, so I threw that in there. But as we improve later, I don't even need to worry about cooldown, so it's irrelevant. That's there. You can really put those points into this and boost this up more. I just don't have the gold to do that at this stage, so I've filled the spots with that. Then we've got this slot here for the 6 that we can change in our different resistances for the different boss. So for Gluttony, you want the anti-freeze, frostbite immunity, so that Gluttony doesn't freeze you in the spot when it hits you with one blast, causing Gluttony to be able to do follow-up shots which kill you because you're frozen and you can't move. So this prevents that. Now you can swap that around for different bosses. If you're going up against the poison one, you use the poison immunity. You're going up against the fire one, use the heat one. If you're going up against an electric boss, use the electric one, and so on. They're all the same one, and you can just swap them around. And that is this build. As you see here, we're running 12,000 health and 40,000 defense, but when our shield drops to 0, this goes up to about 70,000 defense. So we're running about 70,000 defense and 12,000 health, and it's absolutely tanky. So for our reactor, for this build, you can go for skill duration up and skill cooldown. A lot of people are saying to go for that, but for this build in itself, those are kind of not really relevant for the way we're building this. So better reactors would be ones that are for the health and stuff like that, maybe some extra health. So if you come over here, you'll see I've got one that's for health right here. HP heal modifier is another real good one for us because it makes us get our health back faster. And because we're not doing damage with our skills and we're not relying on our fourth or needing any cooldowns for anything, we don't have to worry about cooldowns or duration. We do not have to worry about duration for this ability because of how this thing lasts. It lasts for the duration of your clip. So if anybody has a gun with a bigger clip, they're going to get a bigger duration out of it. So it's simple as that, and it's easy as that. So that's how I'd go about your reactor. Don't need a gold one, or any of the stats don't need to be matched or anything because you're not doing skill power. So you could have just a random reactor, it doesn't even matter. You could even have no reactor, it probably won't affect the build that much. It's that. there's that much playroom. Now, for your components, you really want to focus heavily on getting your defense and your health into these, because this is where you're getting all your defense and your health. And you will want to be level 40 for the maximum base defense and health pool, okay? Then, if you get them all right, you'll end up with a defense and a health pool like this. Now, on top of that, you want to also focus on the resistance on the module for the boss that you're fighting. If you're fighting Gluttony, you'll want chill resistance. If you're fighting a poison boss, you'll want toxic resistance. If you're fighting a fire boss, you'll want some fire resistance, and so on. And then you've got the electric resistance, and so like this. I don't focus on sets. You could go for the set if you can go and farm the boss to get the set to have the perfect stats on the set that you're going for. So health and defense and stuff like that, and the resistance. Then yes, a set will do well for you. But for my case, I prioritize just for the health and the defense and turning myself into an absolute tank. So that is the build, guys. It's simple as this. And yes, I'm running a very heavily built up enduring legacy that is built up heavily into crit. Because Enzo is a crit one, this is the build that I'm finding is the best to run with this. I have not finished building this yet, and I'll continue building this up, but this is just where I am at this stage, guys. So this is the build that I do with this. It's the complete build. It's awesome. And again, you see 78% crit chance with a 6.8 crit damage, and that stays until I empty the clip. So once I empty my clip, I can cancel my reload by bringing out this as well. As long as you cancel your reload once he puts the clip into the gun. When he pulls his clip out and then he puts his clip into the gun, that's when you cancel your reload. So you'll see here like this, however you want to cancel it. Now you can cancel by a roll, you can cancel by activating ability or anything, but that is how you will cancel your reload. So with that said, guys, this is the one energy activator tank build for Enzo, and it's awesome. Now the shock punch, you can go along and you can put the other ones in there if you have them. I just use shock punch because it doesn't matter, and I haven't finished upgrading this because it costs millions of gold to do so. So with that said, guys, I'll end the video with a little bit of gameplay. Thank you guys for watching my videos. Subscribe if you're not already. Smash that like button for me. Leave me an awesome comment and keep being awesome. B-Man, out.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in bleach. Cross all the ones who commit crimes and watch me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around me. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me in my waiting glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the others. Some days I can't tell my body I love everything. Fire spreading all around me. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. just ride around the nursery and count sheep.